From RoboCop to James Bond, jetpacks are staple features in many popular blockbusters. But the technology is now a reality, and one brave inventor has even shown off his jetpack while zooming over Dubai this week. Yves Rossy, widely known as Jetman, took to the skies over Dubai wearing his Jetwing jetpack on February 14. Within 8 seconds of taking off, he'd reached 100 meters in height, quickly climbing to a height of 1,000 meters in just 30 seconds. The inventor also threw in an impressive roll and loop at a height of 1,800 meters, reaching speeds of almost 150 miles per hour. Finally, after around 3 minutes of flight, Mr. Rossy opened his parachute before landing back on the ground. Mr. Rossy said, "We are so happy we achieved this incredible flight. It's the result of extremely thorough teamwork, where each small step generated huge results. Everything was planned to the split second, and I was overjoyed by the progress that was achieved. It is another step in a long-term project. One of the next objectives is to land back on the ground after a flight at altitude, without needing to open a parachute. It's being worked on." During the flight, Mr. Rossy was equipped with a carbon fiber wing, powered by 4 mini-jet engines. Thankfully, should an engine failure have occurred, Mr. Rossy was backed by a safety parachute. In a statement about the flight, Jetman explained, "As always, the health and safety of the Jetman was an absolute priority in this stunt. No fewer than 50 preparatory flights were conducted, comprising more than 100 takeoffs and landings under a cable, and with the safety of a fall arresting system, as well as in-flight tests next to a helicopter." This isn't the first time that Mr. Rossy has flown the jetpack over an iconic landmark. He's previously displayed the technology over the London Eye and China's Tianmen Mountains. With a cockpit hovering high above 2 massive water skids, the SS18 from London's Glitter Yachts looks more like an amphibious UFO than any yacht or boat we might compare it to. But it's designed for much more than just unique looks, offering a high-performance ride with enough stability, speed, and comfort to sit back, sip champagne, and chat with your closest friends, while island hopping at 55 knots, 102 kilometers/a. The product of 8 years of research and development, the 18 meters, 60-foot SS18 debuted earlier this year to much interest and wonder. Its uniquely structured dual-hull arrangement is designed to create a blend of speed, stability, and agility that more traditional forms cannot match, a combination that promises a new era of speeding across the water without worry of getting beaten up by the angry sea. Though it appears to meet the dictionary definition of a catamaran quite neatly, 2 parallel hulls joined by a deck, Glider insists it is neither a traditional catamaran nor a swathe small waterplane area twin hull. Instead, Glider says its specific hull dynamics work in harmony with its stability control system, SCS, and powertrain configuration to create a gliding motion that is quite unique, designed for a combination of swathe-like stability and catamaran-style high-speed efficiency. The way it moves through the water is very different from any other boat in the world, explains Glider Managing Director Rob McCall. It actually glides through the water at wave trough level. So instead of leaping from wave to wave, like conventional boats at speed, there's no up and down motion, which in a 30-foot, 9 meters, conventional boat is spine-shattering at 25 knots, 46 kilometers/a. in 2 or 3 foot chop. As Glider tells it, this means the SS18 can sprint comfortably between the likes of Street Tropes and Monaco or Miami and the Bahamas in under an hour, even if the water is something less than glassy smooth. Because unlike a swathe, which accomplishes its wave-neutralizing stabilization by planting hull volume below the water's surface, creating drag, the Glider does so with a draft of just 16 inches, 400 millimeters, meaning less drag and more speed. In fact, Glider has made drag reduction a central component of the design, pulling dangling bits out from the water and integrating them into other areas and systems. Glider has no subsurface appendages, says McCall. She has a zero-drag steering system. Like on fighter jets, and the Russian ones in particular, we vector thrust for steerage and for reversing. Therefore, there are no rudders, fins, or skags. The thrust is provided by an impressive bit of muscle. 4 subsurface jets mounted amidships, each powered by an independently fueled and controlled 270 EP supercharged engine. That 1080 EP pushes the vessel up to 56 knots, 103 kilometers/a. The 2 rear engines and jets are what we call main engines, and they have thrust vectoring capabilities, says McCall. So in-port maneuvers can be conducted just using the 2 rear engines. You go on and off the dock, and in and out of the port very quietly. As you get out onto open water, you can open up the 2 engines up to 25-30 knots. And should somebody come along that wants to have a race, you just turn on the 4 engines and say goodbye. If 56 knots doesn't sound like it'll be enough to leave the boats in your neighborhood waters flopping in your wake, it's worth noting that the SS18 is both the firstborn and the baby of the planned glider family. Next up, a 3,400 EP hypersport version, the HS18, with 2 engines and 2 turbines combining for up to 96 knots, 178 kilometers/a, and an estimated 3.5 second 0 to 60 mph, 96.5 kilometers/a. While the SS18's otherworldly form largely follows function, it's also been shaped and sculpted as a seaworthy art piece. We wanted something elegant and beautiful that would be timeless. So we looked at the world's most beautiful classic cars, like the Ferrari GTO, the E-Type, McCall says of the initial styling process. From that, we determined what were, to the human eye, the most beautiful shapes and forms that were timeless. Glider then put those shapes and forms through a rigorous computational fluid dynamic analysis, ensuring that every structure and component is able to help in fulfilling the boat's overall mission of providing smooth, stable, and fast performance on the water and a comfortable experience for passengers. On deck, the SS18 seats 4 passengers behind the captain's chair. Onboard equipment includes a bespoke black glass Garmin dashboard with 2 touchscreens managing all controls and navigation, and a JAIL Audio premium sound system tuned specifically for the boat. McCall says SS18 pricing will fall in the £1 million, $1.3 million range. Glider's first 7 clients have already been qualified and await their first trials, which will commence after Glider finishes a few last tweaks and touches. The company is currently seeking third-round funding to support the introduction of a 12-seat, 70-knot, 130 kilometers/a sports limousine model. The greater Glider family will include limousine and grand touring sports super yachts, stretching from 115 to 262 feet, 35 to 80 meters.